I did that with my mind. And then just be still. Just be still, be aware. Just notice how your body feels. Now, before we move on to the next little piece that we're going to do, let's go ahead and just, you can share an experience, or if you have a little question or something you'd like to ask about this, let's go ahead and open it up. You could type in or unmute yourself and fire away.
Yeah, go ahead, Laura.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, Greg, is this something you do once a week or multiple times a week, or?
You could do it. I mean, you could do it daily, but like I find that I'm going to use myself as an example. I started doing this I used to do this like a really long time ago. And then I was like, I'm going to get into the habit of doing this again. And so, I just pulled out a bottle of hyssop, and I think I did it 2 nights in a row, like where I was end of the day sitting on the couch and I just would inhale and go through and do it. I was like, this feels so good. This feels amazing. And then I stopped doing it. It's just, it's like one of those things where when you feel a little bit better, you don't really think that much about it. If you can keep it up consistently, like I'd say at least maybe once or twice a week. You could do it daily if you wanted to, but practically speaking, probably you'll end up doing it once or twice a week.
So I mean, this may be off target, but if your spine is flowing, does that increase light flow or
Yes.
help with meditation? Or?
Yes. That's why I used to do it so many years ago, was like even when we're talking about like being vessels of light, if we just look at it from an esoteric point of view, and say you're sitting there and you're thinking of light, there's light in your system, but as soon as you move your awareness to your spine, the light just comes pouring out, comes down and out. And so the more that you unwind the spine, the more energy can move up and down, but also the more that you emanate it outward. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it improves your immunity, and you could almost say it's it's a little bit like kind of toning and regulating to the somatic nerves, which are your voluntary part of your nervous system. The things that, like when you go, okay, arm do this, legs do this. Like sometimes those things can become overly agitated or lose tone as well, and it helps with all that. We don't really factor in that, like sometimes, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but like if you've been doing like deep meditation or something, you'll start to get a little shaky. Like, I don't know if you've ever like noticed that. Usually doesn't last for very long, but it's the nervous system has gotten a little depleted. And things that help fortify the nerves are the oils that we talked about, like hyssop, poplar, marjoram to a certain extent, but even like firs and spruces and sitka and even frankincense and myrrh, all those things are very fortifying for the nerves. And so when you're doing meditation or prayer work, it's good to just do that from time to time to keep the nerves like capable of having those deeper, more intense experiences.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Now, you had us use the poplar balsam or hyssop, eucalyptus, marjoram, any of those. Is that specific because of the immune system?
Yes, it's for the immune system. Yeah. I mean, poplar does other things as well, but all of those are more like if you had hyssop and eucalyptus, use the hyssop. Eucalyptus was like if you didn't have some of the other things, but hyssop's a better choice. Hyssop or poplar are probably your two most solid choices to do this. But if you don't, you gotta still like figure out a B choice or something like that. So some of those other things are B choices. Marjoram will do it. It's a bit of a B choice, but marjoram is even better for like if you do have a subluxation, like if you have like a bone out or you have like a bad back or something like that. You're not necessarily doing it for your immune system, but you're just like got to take some of the tension off some of these spinal muscles. The marjoram can help with that, either topically or through inhalation.
Laura mentioned meditation. Would these be all a great choice, or is there other choices?
No, these would be great. Like, yeah, for deepening basically you're kind of cleaning up energies that get stuck and accumulated in the spine. And so, it can be a little bit of a complicated task depending on what you're trying to do, but for immunity and vitality of the body and everything, these are solid choices.
Go ahead, Sonia.
Hey, Sonia.
What about if there's neurological damage in the spine?
Like, give me an example. Like what happened?
Well, I had meningitis and encephalitis, and they kept making that big misdiagnosing it for like 20 years. So I got learning disabilities, sensory problems. I got a mild left side spastic paralysis. I had
Why don't you do the spine but with sage?
Sage.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Sage would be a better choice. And if you wanted to alternate between hyssop and sage.
Okay.
Yeah. The sage should help with that.
And for those of you who came in just for the deeper practice, we finished Q&A a little early. So we did a practice already, and it was using those oils I posted, and Greg brought us through with awareness on the spine. I let you guys know that if you want to go back to the recording, I'll get it up on YouTube.
I think we had talked about doing it like before Christmas, and then we just ran out of time and we weren't able to do it. So it's what we had talked about back then, but we practiced it. And so we are going to do another round of practice here as soon as we hit a little bit more. Any other questions?
Someone had to share. I've
Yeah.
noticed an improvement in my scalings over the past couple of months.
Yay! So those are the deep muscles in the neck that affect the nerves down the arms. So,
And go ahead, Shraddhananda.
hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm up and down. So thanks for the chance to ask a question. Grace must be flowing because what we just did is exactly what I need, and I came in late. So, right after I had, as soon as I got COVID, I started having these things going on with my arms and my right arm and with my legs that kind of mimic MS and cerebral palsy. Not as extreme as cerebral palsy, but basically it feels like my nerves are misfiring. Either my brain's not getting the message through or my muscles aren't receiving it or something in between. but my legs start to shake, my arm, it's like, I don't know, it's short circuiting. The nerves are short circuiting. So I'm wondering if this is a practice that can really help repair.
Well, that could help. The thing that I would like also like to question is like how is your breath? Like, are you able to take a deep breath? Are you able to exhale slowly? Do you feel pressure on your chest? Anything like that?
Yeah, so I still have the pressure around my sternum, but it's not as pervasive. It hurts if it gets palpated, you know? And I can take a deep breath, but it's not always at the same depth. The physical therapist said that I don't have the paradoxical breathing anymore. My breath is flowing in the right direction, but
Oh, tremendous.
it still gets stuck
Tremendous.
sometimes.
Yeah. But still that you're moving in that direction. That's amazing. Good.
Yeah.
And so, you know, because what I noticed over the COVID thing with the pandemic is when people were having respiratory issues, it would manifest in some weird neurological pains in the legs, and like either like you said, like hyper reactivity, like where they're like firing a lot, or they start to go to sleep a little bit. And part of what happens when the breath is off a little bit is it can cause like some fascial restrictions, and it doesn't move lymph quite like it should. And so you're moving in the right direction. So when you say that there are symptoms in the legs, like give me an idea, like you feel like little quivering things in the legs, or
So I look like the Tin Man sometimes. Like all of a sudden, there's not this. I'm in the middle of walking, and then my legs just go wonky. And I said the Tin Man, I mean the Straw Man in the Wizard of Oz. Like all of a sudden, they're just like rubber bands, and they won't do what they're supposed to do. And it feels like there's no pain involved, but you know, if you get like an electrical shock,
yeah.
and all of a sudden you freeze, right? And
Have you fallen? Like when you're like that, do you kind of drop down to a knee or anything like that?
that's the crazy thing. I never fall.
You start to dance a little bit, like you get a
Yes.
little, okay.
Yes.
Has your signature changed a little bit?
Oh gosh, I hadn't noticed. It's more, yeah, actually.
Yeah,
Gosh, I never noticed that.
it's you know how we're always talking about the parasympathetic like lack of tone. You
Yeah.
have the opposite. You have sympathetic dystonia. It's very, very, very like underdiagnosed. Like you know, you usually the doctor will catch it like when you've like dropped to a knee, or you like fall to the ground sometimes, but you don't really pass out, but like your body's just like a little short period of time, like it doesn't work. And so like when you start to have a little bit of a spell, it looks like you're dancing a little bit, like you'll kind of like, and you know, you couldn't walk a straight line if your life depended on it. And
Yeah, I definitely can't walk a straight
yeah,
line.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that bouncing around, that dancing thing only happens from the waist down.
Yeah, it sounds like dystonia.
Yeah.
So
Is that detectable with a EMG test? They're gonna give me an
probably not. I mean they might. I mean that like what they can see and not see in the tests, like the only times that I ever saw it really diagnosed was the physician would just look at a series of symptoms and then go through and like look and go, oh, this is what's going on. Probably the most common place where I've seen it is either after a traumatic event or after woman's given birth.
Oh, wow.
And but it can happen at any time. Like it can happen at any time. And I've known a couple people like recently, like they've had dystonia, and it's an odd thing because you know it's not like it's always present.
No,
So
it's not.
you almost like, it's almost like the doctor would have to see you in motion, and then like the doctor could go, oh, that's dystonia. But
Yeah,
like when you describe it, they're like, well, but like when you see it, it's very obvious what it is. So this is what I would do for that.
okay,
I would take like probably 4 or 5 drops of anise, like 2 or 3 times a day.
okay,
And sometimes it takes a little while, but I mean, within a week or two, that should diminish quite a bit. And the thing is the anise is very balancing to both the sympathetic and parasympathetic. But it can be used to treat the dystonia. Yeah.
Okay.
And dystonia just means like lack of tone. Like all it is you've lost tone in that part of the nervous system for whatever reason.
okay,
And so sometimes what I do after that, like first we try to get that component to calm down, and then I go through and like just fortify like the adrenals and things. Like
okay.
so black spruce, camphor, rosemary, basil, geranium, there's a couple blends that you could use, but even if you just did those, even just one of them, you probably would be okay. They're not so much for calming the adrenals down, but like sometimes the adrenals get a little bit depleted, or they just need to be a little fortified, and all of those are very fortifying to the adrenal cortex. And
So
so
do the anise drops first.
I would just do the anise
Yeah.
drops, by itself. Like get it to where that goes away, and then after that, the next wave, then go through and fortify the adrenals. Fortifying the adrenals isn't going to change anything right now, but once everything's balanced out, it prevents it from coming back faster.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, yeah, well,
Yeah.
thanks for having an answer, because I just feel like
Yeah.
I'm short circuiting.
Honestly, like the only time that I've ever seen a physician like nail it is when a person had an episode in front of them.
Yeah,
Like it's so like just a weird thing that it's not on anybody's radar.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
so much, that's very helpful.
I mean, like really pay attention to your signature. Like that's the other indicator is
Yeah,
like,
I had no clue.
yeah,
I mean,
like
this-
you look at it and you go, God, like my writing, not just your signature, but like writing, it just like you don't quite have the coordination that you did before, and like things get a little sloppy, and you try to do something and it won't quite do what you think.
Yeah, I
That-
would
that's
have
dystonia.
never
Yeah.
guessed
Yeah.
that, but my signature is usually very round and flowing. This looks like spiky points.
Yeah, like choppy. Like
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I,
that's dystonia.
I would have never known. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so yeah.
For someone who just came in, what was what was the practice? Like, what was the point of the practice we just did? Sorry.
Oh, for the spine, it was just to clean up the spine to improve immune function. It was, and we used hyssop or poplar, and if you didn't have that, there was a couple other choices. Hyssop's a lot of bang for your buck there, because like you're working your spine. It is very good for the spinal nerves. It's actually very stimulating to the medulla, which affects like respiratory function, heart function, circulatory issues, and then it helps to relax the bronchioles and the diaphragm, which loosens up the spinal muscles. And so you're kind of doing multiple things at once when you're doing it with hyssop. Other things would come partially do it. The poplar does it from a little bit different point of view, but it still does it. But everything else has more of a physical or neurological impact, where here we're trying to hit immune function and relaxing the paraspinals and the multifidi of the along the spine and the diaphragm and the bronchioles and all that, the trachea. And the hyssop hits all of that. Okay, so for this, are we any more questions? I think we're good. Okay, so like, let's have you go through and do this. We're going to do a little bit of a different approach. Again, still dealing with immunity, but pull out something that you use for your immune function or immune protection. So your Monarda, your Melissa, Monarda complex, immune support, anything that's immune related that you're using for immunity. Lemongrass, cinnamon,
Thyme.
thyme, anything that bumps up your immunity, So basically what we're going to do is we're going to do the materialization breath. And when we do the materialization breath, first off, you're materializing light, which is fuel for the body's processes, right? It helps break the body out of a repetitive action and helps the body to evolve. By using immunity oils, you're forcing the light into the immune system itself. So any form of immune-oriented essential oils will work for this process. You are going to you're not having to visualize anything, but the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to pull out your oil, you're going to begin inhaling, and your awareness is just on the center of the heart, the center of your chest. Just take long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the heart, and you're not having to think of anything or visualize anything. You're just inhaling. Okay, and then just for a review, or if you've never done this before, so you're going to hold your bottle to your chest, and then you're going to bring your head down. You're going to inhale, hold your breath, head up, exhale, and then down, inhale, up, exhale, down, inhale, up, exhale, down, inhale, up, exhale. Then do 4 or 5 more on your own. And then when you're done, just be still. And as you're being still, keep your awareness on your temples. And then again, bottle to your chest, chin down, inhale, hold your breath, head up, exhale, down, inhale, 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 up, exhale. And then just be still. Just be still. Be aware of your body. Be aware of your lungs. Just keep your awareness on your body and your lungs. Keep your awareness on your breath. Just be still. Move your awareness to the nostrils. Just monitor the air as it moves in and out of your nostrils. So you don't have to do this, but this is something I like to do just because I like to involve the mind and the brain in some of this work just because sometimes our mind doesn't always buy what we're doing energetically or what we're doing to our body. Like, you know what I mean? So even the idea of putting our awareness on the temples afterwards kind of helps shift some of the mental processes a little bit. But one of the things that I like to do with this is like after I've done it a couple of times, like we've just done, I sit and I contemplate like the last like time or two that the body was sick. You know, so you go, okay, the last time I had flu or if I had COVID or, you know, whatever it is, sit and just like think about it. You don't have to remember all the details, but like engage the mind a little bit and just, I opened up a can of worms. Oh, okay. So we're going to cover some of this at the weekend. So anytime when you go to a memory and then you go back to the body and to the memory and back to the body, you basically by the back and forth, you know, you're starting to connect the mind and body to a higher degree. And what starts happening is not just energy or light goes into the area, but energy with consciousness. Like it is energy of the soul. It is things that energy with consciousness like goes to areas that need help, that need to help the area like evolve out of whatever the health issue is, right? So a lot of times when like, oh, we have like a bad shoulder, we have a bad back, or we have, you know, a compromised immune system, is that system is running, but it's on automatic pilot. It's lacking light. It's just going through a process, but it's not evolving out of it. It's not growing. It's not strengthening itself. It's not performing like it should. And so you know you do things to like stimulate this and stimulate that, and but here we're trying to draw in life force or soul energy into this area to like really jumpstart it. So it's a bit more of an esoteric approach, but I mean it has impact. Like sometimes when nothing else has worked, something like this works actually and starts moving things in the right direction, which then makes all the treatments after that work a little bit better. And so go through and like just recall the last time or two you were sick, or just a time that really jumps out at you. Just like think of like, oh, I get sick every year at this time, or, you know, whatever it is. Just reflect on it. You're not trying to fix it. You're not trying to define it. You're not trying to do anything. You're just observing it. Now let the imagery go and just check in with your body. Where do you feel that in your body? You feel it in your chest, in your back, in your throat, in your lungs, in your breath, your legs. And wherever you feel it, just keep your attention there and just be still. A. Bottle to the chest, chin down, long, slow, deep breath. Move your head up, exhale. Do like 8 or 9 of those. And then just be still and again reflect on that time where you were sick. Continue to reflect on those past events. Check in with your body. Where do you feel it in your body? Bottle to your chest, chin down. Inhale, move your head up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale. Do about 7 or 8 more. And then just be still. Pay attention to your nostrils, the air moving in and out of the nostrils. Okay, you guys. Thanks for a good session tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed. And remember, tomorrow night we have the Metatron study group and the Astara study groups, and we have the prayer petitions that we're going to be doing. If you want to join us tonight, and then the weekend is the Foundation for Mystical Healing, and going to be in Seattle. Seeing everybody up there in Seattle in person, and yeah. So anyway, take care, you guys. Talk to you soon.